Hi guys, today I'm going to be discussing the movie The Battle of the Sexes, which I recently saw in the cinemas. I really enjoyed it, and the fact that there is a high profile tennis movie out there is really awesome, so I'd recommend that all of you go and see it. But before I get started, I just want you to know that I'm going to start uploading every Saturday. I've actually already planned the next couple of videos out, so please subscribe for a wide variety of tennis videos every week. So I'm no movie expert or critic, but I've watched plenty of tennis in my day, so I'm more going to be talking about the depiction of the storyline itself rather than the cinematic techniques or anything fancy like that. So my first point about the movie is that I was just expecting it to be about the match between Billie Jean King and Bobby Riggs, but the movie was actually so much more than that. It was a movie about the formation of the WTA Tour, how much of a trailblazer Billie was in the tennis world, and on top of that, it tackled problems such as gender and problems of sexuality, and although that problem wasn't necessarily resolved in the movie, it was interesting to see that struggle. It also showed Bobby Riggs' personal struggles with his marriage and his gambling issues, which was also interesting in terms of the storyline in the movie, but in real life sense, in a factual sense, it wasn't really something that I was interested in. And the depiction of the actual tennis in the movie was rather impressive, especially considering how recreating tennis from the 1970s with wooden rackets and no topspin is not an easy task, and this obviously wasn't done by Steve Carell and Emma Stones, but by stand-ins that came in and did the tennis for them. As well as the dramatic moments, there were also funny moments as well. Of course, Billie Jean's strength and character and the fact that she was standing up to men, such as the head of the US LTA at the time, Jack Kramer, was entertaining in itself. But mainly, Steve Carell as Bobby Riggs was hilarious, especially throughout the scenes before the Battle of the Sexes match, where he was saying and doing the most ridiculous things. Sarah Silverman as Gladys Heldman, who was a manager of the Virginia Slims Tour, was also a funny character. Also, Rosie Cassell's sassiness was fun. And the general ignorance of the male characters and the fact that if they said what they said then today, they would be immediately fired and hated by the general public. That was a factor that was also made it entertaining. In terms of the movie itself, I recommend that everyone go and see it, as it has a good cast, has some entertaining scenes, and it's also an awesome history lesson and something good to watch if you want to learn a lot about not only Billie Jean King, but how women's tennis came to be what it is today. But now I want to talk about Billie Jean's story. I personally think that she and a few other women that stood by her side and stood up to the US LTA are the reasons that tennis is one of the few sports where there is equal pay. She left the US LTA to make her own tour, which led to what the WTA Tour is today. The fact that a single individual's actions led to what is now a world-recognized sporting establishment with thousands of players in tournaments every year is absolutely incredible. Also, the fact that she didn't really want to play Bobby Riggs in the Battle of the Sexes match, but she knew that as the voice of women's tennis, that it was her responsibility to go out there, is inspirational, and she was a real trailblazer for women in sport and LGBT people in sport. In the end, in movies like this, you always come out feeling really good because you've learnt about an amazing story and you feel inspired to go out and do something significant with your life like what she did. Thanks so much for listening to this ramble, and if you enjoyed, please hit the like button below and subscribe for more content, hopefully every Saturday. My question is to you, have you seen the movie yet? And if you have, what did you think for it? Please leave a comment down below and we can have a discussion. And as always, any tips for any improvement that you want on my videos or any video suggestions that you have, please leave them down below as well. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.